Going live.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Public Works Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, and we are meeting by remote. Present today is Councilman Vincent Pelizzi, Councilman Randy Allison. We have our city engineer, Bill Scott, our Director of Streets and Parks, Scott Livermore, and we have our guest, Brad Sobleski. I hope I'm not murdering that too much, and I apologize.
Good enough.
Thank you. We also have Janice Frank, our city clerk, and Chris as our IT person. I don't know if I missed anybody. I don't think so. So we're going to flip the agenda around a little bit since we have a guest here. Mayor, I'll let you go first, okay, with the resolution authorizing execution of agreement between City of Williamsport and Pillar Design Studio Pump Tracks.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Councilwoman Katz and Councilman Pelizzi. Yes, what you have before you is a resolution for the pump track design and engineering. As you know, we received a DC&R grant for Shaw Park for the pump track. We put that out there. We initially sort of polled the community a couple years ago, and it received tremendous response, particularly from the biking community. We've had members attend council meetings to speak in favor of, and also county commissioner meetings. We have a mountain biking club. I think some members of that will be at Thursday's meeting. Anyway, so it had a tremendous response. So we applied to DCNR for the grant. We were fortunate, excuse me, to receive the grant. And now, you know, we're at the stage to award, and Pillar Design Group, Pump Tracks USA has, and I know there's a representative here, but they have a tremendous body of work all over the country. This is their wheelhouse. I believe they're Tony Hawk certified even, and they could probably speak to that a little bit more. But this is exactly what they do. And I mean, hundreds of projects, you probably saw that in the information that was shared with City Council, but just come highly recommended. Very, very good at what they do, and very much looking forward to working with them. And so I'll stop there and I'll let them speak for themselves and turn it back over to you, Councilwoman Katz, maybe to let Pillar Design Studios, I don't know, give a brief overview and then maybe answer questions, but I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. You're up, Mr. Sobleski.
Well, I'm really here just to answer any questions you guys may have. But to introduce myself, my name is Brad Sobleski. I'm the owner of Pillar Design Studios, Pillar Skate Parks. We have partnered with Pump Tracks USA. We have been designing and building bike parks and skate parks for over 20 years. We've got well over 700 parks all over the world under our belts. So we're excited to bring all of our experience and all of our knowledge to the table to come up with something unique and different. And really customize it to your community. So if there's really any questions that you guys may have for us before we get this, no pun intended, but the ball rolling, I'm here to help.
Okay, Randy, Vince, would you like to ask any questions?
Good. I don't have a question per se. I mean, it is quite an extensive resume. When I first read through it, I thought, what is this? And then I began to, process it. That is quite impressive. Anyhow, in any case, though the process is that we will. I mean, there's all kinds of different models there. So it's up to us to decide which one we want.
Well, I think that we can sit down as a roundtable and you guys can kind of tell me what your goals are for the project.
Mm-hmm.
And I can help bring our process, our experience, our knowledge to the table to come up with a well-rounded approach to get the community involved and make sure everybody's really happy with the product. Now, we all know in the public sector, making everybody happy is pretty close to impossible. True. But we've got a pretty good track record of making most people happy.
right. I would imagine. So Mayor Slaughter, we would organize a model where we get all the input from the public as well as internally.
Yep.
Is that what we're looking at?
Yep, that's what we're looking at. And as Brad just said, they've done this hundreds of times, and so they almost have it down to a science and
Mhm.
how to get community input and feedback, as well as obviously the city, council, administration, et cetera. So, but absolutely, we clearly want community buy-in. We'll receive it. And as I said, working even with the mountain biking club and other groups in the community who are into the biking space and pump track space, that's clearly not my wheelhouse at all. And so we'd be relying on them and input, of course, from the city. But yeah, they've done this hundreds of times, literally. So they know what they're doing. And so that's the way I see it. I think that's the way Brad sees it. And that's the way
Mhm.
we sort of collectively see it, is that community input with all of us, between all of us, and come up with something that's pretty awesome and unique to Williamsport, like Cumming County, with especially given the outdoor recreational amenities we already have,
Mhm.
gateways, PA Wilds, et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah.
so I think there's just a way to tie all that together, the river walk, and just bring people into the city, into the pump track park, and just have a pretty cool amenity.
Yeah, absolutely. So once we would approve this, what's the timeline to kick it off?
Well, Brad, I mean, it's pretty much that does kick it off, and then we would all get together and sort of look at it. But I'll let Brad, I mean, from experience, Brad, what would you say?
Yeah, the ideal situation would be once we have all contracts signed and we're all good to go, we have a internal kickoff meeting so that we can all talk about your goals,
Mhm.
what you guys as a municipality see happening with this. We talk about maintenance, we talk about long term, we talk about different approaches. We've got options here. I know we've talked a little bit even in the interview process about materials. Do we want concrete? Do we want asphalt? We want a mixture. So I can kind of give you the pluses and the minuses of everything so that we can talk about an approach and a maintenance plan, overall budget. And then ideally what I like to do is I like to come to the public with some ideas so that they understand scope of work. They understand budget and what they can kind of do with the budget. In my 20 years of doing this, when we come to the table with a blank slate, we tend to hear the same thing. We want the same old 5 things that everybody's always written. But then they ask for, everything.
Right.
They want skills tracks, they want pump tracks, they want downhill, they want this, they want that. And the site may not accommodate that. So I want to make sure that I'm very educated on the site, the budget, your approach, your goals, so that when we bring them an idea, it's something that can be done. And it kind of sets the tone of where we want to take the project. And then we get their input on how to change that and make it customized to their needs.
Mhm. That sounds great. I appreciate that narrative. And yeah, I, just as a comment, and Mayor Slaughter, when we first started talking about this was a few years ago, several now. It was just a vision maybe, but it's really exciting to see this taking shape and the possibilities, the actual offerings that there are. So appreciate all of that. That's all I have, Bonnie.
Okay. To ask a question, since have been doing this, Brad, for 20 years, then you know how to build something like this for the climate that we have, be it summer, spring, winter, especially when it's cold and we know that things expand and contract. So that would be where your knowledge would come into as far as what we would have done in this in Shaw Park.
Yep.
So understanding that. The other question, going through all of your packet, which was incredible. I mean, trying to answer all of our questions. I mean, your resume was fantastic.
Thank you.
Number one. Are we going to be designing this just for bikes, or are we going for both bikes and skate park?
Well, I mean, that really depends on what you guys want. In my experience, designing something is hard to keep other people off. You know, I've done a lot of skate parks where back in the early 2000s, late 90s, we were trying to keep bikes off. That's what the client wanted, but it's impossible. It's 100% impossible to separate those uses.
We have that
so-
with we do have that with the skate park that we've had. That we're trying to keep the bikes off of it because of insurance and everything, but it doesn't work.
Even with an asphalt pump track, you're going to get skateboards on it. You're going to get scooters on it. It's fun. I'm a skateboarder. I'm also an ex-BMX racer, but I ride my skateboard on asphalt pump tracks. Now, if you went all dirt, you wouldn't get any skateboarders. You wouldn't get any scooters. Now, what you would get is you would probably get some crazy, there are off-road skateboards. You'd probably get some of those guys there. But a lot of it has to do with the material that you want to go with. You know, concrete, everybody can ride it. But you're going to get less park for your dollar because concrete's twice as expensive as asphalt. If you know, I can show you guys one of my projects I just finished in Oro Valley where we did here, let me just pull it up so I can explain to you to give you a good idea of costs. All right, let me pop open a good
By the way, our IT person said that he could share the screen if you're going to do this on council meeting.
Oh, okay. He can share it, or you want me to share it? Can I share?
Oh,
Yeah, you should be able to share. Yeah, he can give
Okay.
you access.
All right. Okay. Let me know when you guys can see it.
Yep, it's coming up. Yep.
Oh, there, okay, you can see it.
Okay. So this right here was an $800,000 project. Now that $800,000 was just the skate park concrete and the asphalt aspects, not the lighting, not the restrooms, not the fencing, not the connection sidewalks, no landscaping. Now, cost-wise, you can see that the asphalt pump track is bigger than the skate park, and the asphalt pump track was at a cost of $300,000. So the 500 went into the skate park. So we're at 10,000 square feet of skatable concrete, but you've got an asphalt pump track that is bigger than that at a smaller cost. So these are all things that I will walk you guys through: cost analysis, the do's, the don'ts, the pluses, the minuses. We'll talk about your site conditions. We'll talk about your grading. We'll talk about your drainage. Drainage is one of the most important aspects of things when designing in a freestyle condition like yours. So we'll look at all those things, and we can come up as a group, we can come up with a decision on an approach. And then we'll kind of bring an approach to the community and let them kind of fine tune that approach.
I saw where you had something that looked like wood.
We've done some
over.
jump parks that we built out of dirt and asphalt with prefabricated what we call kickers. So it's like a phenolic wood on a steel base, which will last a lot longer than wood. But the only other wood that we've really done, we've done some stuff in trees. We've cut down logs and we've used those in skill courses and things like that. But for the most part, with city parks, we try to stick with like concrete and asphalt approach merely for the maintenance approach. Dirt is cheap to build, but costs a lot of money to maintain. And it's a daily maintenance deal. So every time you ride, you're going to want to maintain it. And that's a hard thing to do for a municipality.
That would be nearly impossible.
Yes.
How long does the asphalt last, would you say, on a whole, in our climate?
I mean, it's going to last a long time because here's the thing is that you've only got bikes and skateboards, 200, 250 pounds max on it. You don't have vehicles driving on it. You're not adding salt to it. You don't have plows digging into it. Will it crack? Yes, but it's a very easy fix. Just like you're fixing the cracks in your asphalt roads, it's the same type of approach. So it's all about who builds it. Now, on this point, we're only doing a design for this. So who we choose to build it is key to the longevity of the project. It's all about drainage and it's all about compaction.
You mentioned that several times in your packet about drainage. Drainage seems to be one of the
Yes.
driving forces.
Yes, absolutely. Those that don't pay attention to water are going to have a park that's not going to last.
Now, let me ask you this. If we get this done with asphalt and say there are cracks, could our streets and parks, and Scott, I'm saying this for you, okay? Are they able to repair that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. We're even if you do concrete, concrete or asphalt, we like to have whoever's going to maintain the park. We like to have them there at the end of the project, so that we can walk them through products and process and what to look for.
okay. I'm sorry, Vince, I jumped over you. I really apologize. But I've been reading this for the last 2 days and trying to absorb everything. Go ahead, Vince.
Oh, you're fine, Bonnie. I'm just sitting back listening. So my aspirations of Williamsport having a Woodward grade skate park or pump park, probably not going to happen.
We can beat Woodward. Are you kidding me?
Within our budget and space confinements.
Well, we'll still have something that, yeah, I mean, Woodward, they put a couple pennies into that idea.
Yes, they have. I was out there years ago.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess a lot of the questions I have at this point in time are not applicable. Mayor, these were just the one I had. What kind of insurance costs we could expect to see, premium increases for having the park. Oh, you have to forgive me. I'm horrible with names. I'm great with faces. Brad, I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah, as you had mentioned, Bonnie touched on materials, upkeep costs, maintenance costs. That's something that we can't really speak to just yet until we have an idea on design and scope of work. In your 20 years of experience, because I read through your resume and it's pretty awesome, man. I mean, you go way back to the old Thrasher days.
Yes. I'm an old skateboarder, an old bike rider.
Gotcha. What do you in your estimates, what's the usable life of a park like this?
I mean, skate parks, the stuff that we built in the 90s is still going.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, we've learned a lot in the last 25 years.
Well, even then, material technology has increased an awful lot too.
Absolutely. And those parks are still kicking. So
Okay.
when it comes to concrete, we're thinking 40 plus at this point. There's a lot of our original parks we did in the late 90s that are still there. Yes, they need some love, but they're still rideable. They're still safe. Asphalt obviously will not last as long.
Right.
We're adding, 2 to 3 inches of asphalt on top of a compacted sub base, like a 3/4 inch minus like a road base type of situation.
Mhm.
Asphalt, deteriorates faster, period. But there's cost savings, or you get more park for the dollar when it comes to asphalt. But if I can be honest with you, the asphalt pump track idea is really kind of new within the last 5 to 7 years. But we expect them to last a long time, especially if they are maintained well.
Right. And I saw too, you initially went to school for landscape architecture.
Yes,
On
sir.
these pump tracks, Bonnie, and you were talking about rain, in between the track here, I'm looking at your design that's on the screen. You could do some pretty cool stuff with some rain gardens, things like
Yes.
that.
Now, with the rain gardens, absolutely. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we put hardy grasses, hardy plants in there, because they're gonna get trampled.
Oh yeah.
Gonna get trampled. But yes, we can do some beautiful stuff in the middle of these infield islands. Here we've got, this was grand opening and they hadn't finished all the landscaping yet, but they're going to come in this situation, they're going to do a bunch of blue AstroTurf
Mhm.
in there.
Okay.
So the
You know,
kids can
unless
all-
you just,
because
unless
this is
you
the
just want to
desert.
have some fun,
Yeah.
design
But-
all the interior spaces as a giant retention pond, and
Yes.
you know, when they eat it, they're just going to get a little wet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've got drains and all this here, but this is the desert. You know, this is just north of Tucson. But
Gotcha.
yeah, if you guys want to make those centers, and we could do some crazy landscaping, nice boulders, lots of good drains, lots of good water loving plants, bioswales, bioretention, you name it. We can get super creative with it, but it is a maintenance
Yep.
aspect. And it's most rain gardens that you see everywhere in the world aren't heavily trafficked. It will be in the middle of this high-speed, action-packed park.
Yeah, I would fully expect that whomever would be there, you know,
Yep,
running
bikes will
through
go
it,
flying in
running
there,
across,
skateboards will be going
everything.
flying in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do this stuff where we can create these cool little seating areas on all these interior zones.
Okay.
So we can get real creative on how all this goes together. There's no rules. So
Okay.
we've you know, we like to push the limits and do stuff that's just off the wall different. To make a splash and do something. There's no reason why we can't.
Okay. And then the last question I have, Brad, isn't directed to you. It's back to our mayor. And you have to forgive me, this was probably mentioned before, I just don't recall. Where is the proposed location for this park?
Yeah, so it's Shaw Park, the old pool, and depending on our collective ideas, we have the baseball field there that really doesn't get utilized at all. So we have quite a large space there, from the old volleyball court all the way down to the baseball field. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we have a lot of space out there. And that's sort of what Brad was talking about, you know, basically, you know, depending upon what we like to see,
Mhm.
it could get pretty cool design out there. It's a lot of space.
Brad, about how many square feet in total is this park that you have displayed for us?
So there's 10,000 square feet of skate park and
Mm-hmm.
probably right around the same square footage in asphalt. It just takes up way more room, obviously, because of all the interior landscaped areas.
Gotcha. Okay. 20,000 square feet, you know, that seems like you could do
We're
it all.
probably sitting on an acre right here. This whole
Gotcha.
area is probably about an acre worth of land.
Okay. All right. I have no more questions. I'm kind of excited to see what where this takes us. No, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for answering the questions. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate that. And I have no more questions, Bonnie.
Okay, Mayor, I have one question. What is the grant? How much is the grant for?
So, and I was actually thinking about, I'm glad you said that because I meant to mention at the beginning, Councilman Katz, and I missed it. I was excited to start talking about this. So the grant it's 500,000, 250, 250. And then actually, again, this is what I want to mention at the beginning, the John Lavelle at the county, like Cumming County Planning and the county commissioners threw in another 250,000. So we have $750,000 available for this project, which is really exciting.
Which is kind of, like I said, equivalent to what we're looking at right here. If you were to do a combination of things. If you were to do all asphalt, I could fill up 2 acres.
Wow.
So 750,000 is really going to give us a really nice park.
Like I said, I could give you something equivalent to what you're looking at if you decided to go a half and half approach.
Okay. And Mayor, we do have to check on the insurance because I don't remember what we came to a conclusion with the skate park we have near.
Well, that's not, yeah, the skate park that we have currently, they're insured on their own. This one, Jamie started to look into, but it's going to obviously depend on as we said, what we end up with, but it's not what we looked into so far. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too bad of a thing for insurance.
When we looked into it, Randy, I don't think it was as bad as what we thought it would be, but that's a necessary evil. You know that as well as I do.
No, I don't think it wasn't too bad.
No, not at all. Well, I don't think I have any other questions. It sounds like your work is very durable. Anything that's lasting from the 90s, I think is fantastic when you look at the wear and tear on these parks.
Yep.
I think that would be fantastic. So if this is approved, then the next objective is to sit down with everybody to figure out what kind of plan, right? That would be the next move.
Yep.
Okay. Have you been able to go see Shaw Park at all? Are you waiting till we approve this?
I'm waiting until everything's approved and then I'll make a trip over there. We just finalized a contract with your neighbor, Scranton. So we're gonna be doing a skate park for them also. That's a design build project.
Mm.
And where are you located at?
I am located in my office. I live in Chandler, Arizona. Born and raised upstate New York. I'm currently in New Jersey. So
Well, you're all over the place.
always, we got guys all over the place right now. We're working in North Carolina, Colorado, New York, and Maryland right now, currently. And then Jason's crew is in Ohio and Virginia, I believe.
Wow. A lot of parks. Hey, we're all trying to get the kids out of from behind their devices.
That's my number one battle with my 14-year-old right now. Put the phone down.
Exactly. And this is a perfect opportunity.
Yep.
I thank you very much. If nobody has any other questions, we will talk to you on Thursday then.
I will not be there on Thursday. I will be on an airplane back to Phoenix. So I do apologize for that.
Okay, so if we have
But-
any questions,
Yeah.
because
You can just get them to me. Yeah. Bonnie, if they have questions, just Thursday come out and I can just get them answered right away and get them back to you if anything comes out of that.
yeah, because we don't know what everybody's going to think on Thursday. Okay. thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, just document everything and then that'll all be part of public process. That's going to be part of just let them know that this is part of our process, is to answer all your questions, find out what the goals are, all of that prior, because they're going to ask, is it going to be dirt? Is it going to be asphalt? Is it going to be concrete? I see that the person you're hiring does a lot of skate parks. Does he ride a bike? These are all things that I know will come. And
Okay,
the answers to all these things are yes, we can do it all. However you want to do it. What do you want to see? You're going to get the guys that are going to want skills courses. You're going to see guys that want downhill. Because we are looking at, a really bike heavy thing, there's so many different styles of riding. And there's so many different ways that you can use a bike park. So that's going to be the question they're going to ask is, what are we getting? I want a pump track. I want a street park. Another guy's going to want a downhill. So, we just need to look at budget, what's most important, and what the site can accommodate, and maintenance. Dirt is not easy to maintain. You'll get guys out there that will say, I've got a group that will maintain it. They may maintain it for the first month, but then they will be gone.
we all know that one.
So these are all things you still need to have, you still need to be able to say, look, this is a city park. It needs to be maintained. So you need to make some decisions, some hard decisions that they may not agree with.
Well, for me, what I'm looking at in our area, in the last 5 to 8 years, maybe it's even longer, you didn't see that many bikes on the street. Now we're seeing a lot of bikes on the street. I come from Philadelphia where they have so many areas for bikes. And it took a while for us to catch up in that area. So I think there are going to be a lot of people with a lot of input. And they're very passionate about what they do.
They are. And
We
there's
have
a lot of keyboard warriors.
We have one example of a skateboarder who has been skateboarding since he was a wee little kid, and he used to travel all over. Lonnie Wilcox, terrific skateboarder here. So it's going to be interesting what his input will be.
So
So-
especially when you get the skateboarders involved also, then you got two completely different uses. And,
Exactly.
the scooter kids, they're usually pretty quiet because they're all young. But you'll get the old skateboarders, you'll get the old bikers, and they have opinions.
We know that from the
So
past.
just say yes. Yes, we're gonna look at it. Yes, we will figure it out. Yes, stay involved because I can help alleviate a lot of these issues and a lot of these questions during public process because I like to come to the table knowing everything about the site, how we're going to drain it, how it's going to be maintained so that I can answer their questions and put a squash to any of their doubts.
Fantastic. Well, I think everybody's really kind of excited about this, especially where it's going in Shaw Park. I think this is going to liven up that area of the city, which I think we've all been looking for doing something there. So I know we'll probably be talking to you in the near future. So have a safe trip home.
Okay.
And we'll talk to you all later. And
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take
If you
care.
guys
now.
have any questions, feel free to email or give me a buzz. I'm very easy to get in touch with.
Okay, fantastic. Take care.
All
I
right.
look forward to working with you guys.
Okay, thank
Same
you.
here.
Bye.
See ya.
Next item on the agenda is resolution awarding construction services for the 2024 streets paving project to Glen O. Hawbaker Incorporated. Mr. Livermore, I think you are up. And we also have Mr. Scott.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, good afternoon. So we opened bids, when we opened bids, Scott, last week.
Yep.
No, on the 6th. Yeah, just opened bids last week. We got 3 bids for our streets paving contract. Received the low bid from Glen O. Hallbaker, $170,491.50. Big Rock Paving, $188,855, and then HRI for $218,123.20. Hallbaker did our paving contract last year. They did good work. We have 6 streets listed in our base bid to have this work done on. They include Taylor Place, Hollywood Circle, First Avenue, Valmont Drive, Wayne Avenue, and East 3rd Street. Councilwoman Katz, last year you had asked about, I think I remember you asking why that last block of East 3rd Street wasn't done. And I was new at the time, but I think there was some potential conflicts with utility work that wasn't done. That is done now, and therefore we included that last block of East 3rd Street to be resurfaced this year.
Fantastic. And Taylor Place, that's near Textron, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it stretches from Beaver Street to Oliver Street.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are going to be happy about Hollywood Circle.
Yeah, that it's kind of rough up there with some potholes and cracks and so forth.
Bill, could you send me the names of these streets? Just
Yeah.
email to me an email. So I'll have
Yep, I'll
Thursday.
email. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this? Randy, Vince?
No, I don't.
When is this slated to begin?
So it has to be finished by the end of September, right, Scott?
Yeah, that's what we put out.
I
Gives the
guess,
construction a little bit of time.
okay. The reason I ask is I'm just hoping that we've looked a little forward and scheduled any paving in certain locations within the city with the time frame that Little League's going to be here.
That was discussed, and that's what we originally talked about, trying to have it done before Little League, but we wanted to push it out in September to get competitive bids. But they're Hallbaker's aware of the Little League conflict, so we will steer away from either starting and stopping and then picking up afterwards, or whatever Hallbaker decides to do. But if anything, they'll all come in September, do all right at one time.
Yeah, that'd be just it'd be kind of cruddy if you end up having like East Third Street down to one lane because they started and didn't finish when Little League hits, and you know the traffic we get. Okay,
We haven't talked to the contractor, but I don't see him coming in till first week of September.
Yeah,
We don't know their schedule yet.
Scott,
Okay.
that was actually in the bid documents to have no work done, during Little League. No streets will be shut down.
okay. That was really the only question I had.
Okay, we're off and running then. It's all gonna start. In fact, I think it started in places, hasn't it?
That's the first kind of round of paving. There is Little League also being done. That is out for bid, right?
Being designed currently.
So that's another portion of this year's paving list that we haven't got back yet, but that will be this year too.
That's gonna be a monster,
Yeah.
real monster. So, but anyhow, if there's no other questions, and I know you two will keep us informed of what's going on if we need to know. And that we can also keep the public aware of what's going on. Okay?
Yep.
All right, if nothing else, the only other item is any related items. Does anybody have anything that they want to discuss?
Yeah, Bonnie, I'll mention, so the Memorial Park Outdoor Fitness Court, the design is finished, and that will be going out to bid in the coming weeks. And we look to get that constructed, this late summer and fall. That will include a stone sub base, a concrete pad, and then all the outdoor workout equipment will, be installed on top of that. And that will be right there at Memorial Park.
Is that, where exactly in Memorial Park? Is it going to be, I'm giving you a reference where the playground is. So where would this go?
Scott, you want to explain that?
So I think I might
Scott,
be able to walk her through it here real quick. I think Scott's taking a phone call.
Okay.
So
I think go ahead.
I was going to say, Bonnie, if you're on 3rd Street at the intersection of 3rd Street and Oliver,
Right?
right there, and you're standing there looking at the basketball courts down
Yeah.
toward the basketball and pickleball courts,
Yeah.
directly in front of you, there's a big grassy area. It's almost triangular in shape.
Okay. All right.
My understanding is it's going to be in that space
Okay.
between the streets and the basketball, pickleball courts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
understanding.
Fantastic. Okay. Great. Well, it's going to be
Good.
interesting to see when that's done too. And hopefully the mayor's still looking for sponsorship on this. We will push the mayor to work on this to get the sponsorship before it gets put all together. Okay. But other than that, is there anything else, Bill?
No, that's it for me.
The two of you are going to really screw up our minds here. You're Bill Scott and you're Scott Livermore. So it's, come on, play
There's
with
actually there's a couple more Scotts in this building too. So you walk in here and you say Scott, it gets kind of confusing.
Everybody turns around. I know. That is, hey, Mom. Okay. All right. Well, we will see you on Thursday then. Okay.
All right, we'll see you then.
Take care. Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll
So
talk
long.
on Thursday. Take
Yep.
care. Bye now.
Bye.